Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our fifth annual SPLOST Vendor Fair. We are excited today. We have a lot of great information, a lot of speakers to present some great information for you. So we are so pleased that you are with us today. What we are going to do, I'm going to start off with audience instructions. The event time is from 10 to 1. And so let me go over the agenda for you. We will have a welcome from our chairman, Mr. Jeffrey E. Turner. He is the chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Clayton County Administration, followed by an overview of our Clayton County SPLOST program and a welcome from Mr. Dietrich Stanford, who is our Chief Operating Officer, followed by Ms. Carol Rogers, who is the Director of Clayton County Central Services, who is going to give us the purpose of this event. Then followed by SPLOST upcoming projects with Mr. Ben Hopkins, the Director of Clayton County Building and Maintenance. Then we will have presentations from Mr. Rodney Strong with Griffin and Strong, and he will present on Clayton County SLBE program. And development breakout sessions on bonding, estimating, meeting the prime contractors, how to become an A&E subcontractor, followed by SPLOST Lessons Learned, which will be presented by Mr. Dana Smith with Atlas. Then we will hear from Georgia Department of Program and Subrecipients Requirements, and that will be presented by Mr. Menelik Aline, followed by a panel discussion on how to do business with local government. And on that panel will be City of Atlanta, Clayton County, Fulton County, and MARTA. And then we will have a Q&A session for the panelists and then follow up with some closing remarks. Okay, so now next, let me go over the audience instructions. Okay, your microphone has been muted to prevent interruption from any background noises. So please use the chat box to post your questions and comments, and those questions will be addressed at the end of each presentation. You will be automatically placed during demonstration in or presentation. So remember to do that. At the end of the breakout session, you will be automatically returned to the main room. Okay, and with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Tammy McKenzie, and I am the Contract Compliance Manager for Clayton County Central Services, and I am thrilled to moderate this event for you today. This is our fifth annual event, and this is our first virtual event for this kind. So we are excited to bring this information to you in this platform. So we hope that you stick around so that you can get all of the information that we have in store for you today. So starting out, we're going to hear from a welcome from Mr. Jeffrey E. Turner, our Chairman of Board of Commissioners for Clayton County Administration. And while we are waiting to hear from Mr. Turner, I just want to again thank you for joining us. Again, you will be automatically placed into your breakout sessions. We seem to have some audio issues with the video, so I do apologize.
Pardon me, can you not hear the video we're hearing on this end? Do we need to?
We are not hearing the video.
You're not here in the video. Okay, 1 second. Apologize for the inconvenience. Give us 1 second here.
Sure, just a second. And again, we are about to hear from our chairman, who's going to give us a welcome on our last event here.
No, when you first play it, it should be like a little sound at the bottom.
1 second. All right, something's going on here. What are we
Give us
looking
just a
for?
moment. This is virtual and this is live, so you have to
It'll stop
Yes.
scared and do it again. Do it again.
Oh, I'm in.
Pardon us, just 1 second here.
And while we're waiting, please make sure that you access our Clayton County website for any information that you may hear here regarding our SPLOST program, as well as our small local business program, and any of the events that will be mentioned.
Greetings. I am Jeffrey Turner, Chairman of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 5th Annual Clayton County Vendor Fair. Our goal is to provide the business owners, business professionals, and organizations of Clayton County and surrounding areas access to information that will help improve and grow your companies. The featured speakers for today's virtual vendor fair will share information about topics such as the importance of managing diversity issues, especially in today's political climate, opportunities to participate in a variety of SPLOST-funded projects, best practices for doing business with Clayton County as a subcontractor or as a prime contractor, and so much more. We hope that you will participate in all of the activities our team has organized for you today. We wish you much continued success and thank you for choosing to do business with Clayton County.
Perfect, and thank you. We've just heard from Jeffrey E. Turner. He is the chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Clayton County. And while we are, anyone who's just joining in, we want to thank you for joining us. We will next hear from Mr. Dietrich Stanford. He is the Chief Operating Officer for Clayton County Administration, and he is going to give an overview of our Clayton County SPLOST program, and he's going to welcome you as well for joining us to this event. So while we're waiting, again, make sure that you access our Clayton County ga.gov website for any information that you may hear here during the presentations.
Welcome to the 5th Annual Clayton County Vendor Fair. I am Dietrich Stanford, Chief Operating Officer for Clayton County. In my role, I have the duty and pleasure of overseeing the projects performed by businesses for the county. As such, know that we are extremely interested in ensuring that the county receives the best outcomes possible on behalf of the citizens of Clayton County. This event is just one of the ways we invest in helping businesses learn the best practices for participating in opportunities available throughout the county. Today's vendor fair will provide information on a variety of topics designed to enhance your knowledge about doing business with Clayton County. Please participate as fully as possible so that you derive the greatest benefits from the investment of your time. A special thanks to our partners and presenters for contributing to the success of our annual vendor fair. Thank you for joining us today, and best wishes for continued success.
Okay, great. We just heard from Mr. Dietrich Stanford, our Chief Operating Officer for Clayton County, again, giving us a welcome. And I am Tammy McKenzie, the Contract Compliance Manager for Central Services. For those who are just joining us, I will be moderating for you today. So next up, we will hear from Ms. Carol Rogers, the Director of Clayton County Central Services, and she's going to give us the purpose of this event today. Carol?
Good morning, everyone. Once again, I'm Carol Rogers. I am the director with the Clayton County Central Service Department. And on behalf of Clayton County, I also would like to welcome you to our 5th annual Vendor Fair Network. I wanted to provide just a little bit of information about Central Services. As that name states, we do a little bit of everything working with the county. However, we are the procurement arm of Clayton County, meaning that we purchase all goods and services for the county. We also manage and maintain the county's contracts. But we're also a hub for all the vendor certified programs, such as the Small Local Business Enterprise and also the Minority Women Business Enterprise programs. So our vision for this project, for the vendor fair, back in 2016, we started this co-hosting with Atlas, who is our SPLOS program manager. And at that time, it was a chance for us to provide a forum for our prime contractors to actually work with potential subcontractors for all our upcoming SPLOS projects. Since that time, not only has the program actually grown into an annual event, but also it includes industry leaders sharing valuable information on their trades. So we're very excited about the growth that we've had with the vendor fair. We're very excited about partnering with Atlas during that 5-year time period. The event is a chance for Clayton County to bring together the various government agencies, general contractors, and local firms to increase communication, more importantly, participation and competition for future contracts for Clayton County. Not only do we focus on SPLOS projects, meaning projects that are funded, our construction projects through SPLOS funds, but also public work projects that may be funded through the county's general fund. Also, by meeting with you all, it allows us a chance for you all to know what we do at Clayton County, to make you aware of our needs, which in turn leads to better pricing and higher quality of goods and services to the county. When that happens, it benefits everyone, all of Clayton County citizens. So once again, I want to welcome you. I want to make sure that you participate, ask questions. We have great people on board today that's going to provide information that we feel will be very useful to you and to your firm. So once again, thank you for wanting to do business with Clayton County.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Before we hear from our next presenter, Mr. Ben Hopkins, I want to remind you that there will be an opportunity to ask questions after each presentation. So be sure to type your comments or your questions in the chat area and we will address those. Okay, so now we will hear from Mr. Ben Hopkins, and he is the Director of Clayton County Building and Maintenance, and he is going to give you an overview on the SPLOS upcoming projects.
Good morning, everyone. As stated, my name is Ben Hopkins, and I am the Director of Buildings and Maintenance for Clayton County. We are the facilities management arm of the county. I'm coming to you a little different than everyone else because I thought it would be helpful to see some of the projects or gives a real-time point of view. Behind me, you can see the multi-purpose building at Rum Creek Park here in Jonesboro. That's a project that's in the upcoming SPLOS to update that building, upgrade it. Up the hill here is a gas station, the county fueling station. We're going to be replacing that. Behind that is our fleet maintenance facility. We're going to be doing a renovation, adding some additional storage space. I'm seeing some of the vehicles from our academy students for the police department. We're building a new academy. There are a number of fire stations that we'll be replacing in this SPLOS. We have a new admin building, a new library. It's an exciting time to be in Clayton County. I grew up here, and I'm excited that I work here, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. If you aren't registered to be a vendor with the county, get engaged, get involved. There's really good work happening here, and we're looking forward to moving forward together. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Again, as Ben stated, we have a lot of SPLOST projects that are underway. Many are closing out, and several are about to come on board in our new SPLOST that you will hear about shortly. Again, Clayton County has been very construction heavy over the last couple of years, so a lot of projects, and Ben mentioned several. We have the water park that's in construction right now, a VIP center being reconstructed, as well as a Nassau building. So there's many projects that are underway, and some are closing and some are in the midpoint of it, and then there are some that are about to start. So make sure that you are taking a look at those projects that are coming up. And so thank you, Ben. Right now, next we're going to hear from Mr. Rodney Strong, and he is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Griffin and Strong, and he is going to give us information on the Clayton County Small Local Business Enterprise Program. Rodney?
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I'm going to give a presentation in which I'm going to talk a little bit about the overview of why contract compliance and programs similar to the one that's operated by Clayton County have to operate the way they do. I'm going to talk a little bit about the legal background, and then I'm going to talk about where those opportunities exist, both in Clayton County and in the metro area. At this point, I am trying to share my screen, and let's see here. I have the screen up, but it's not showing.
Mr. Rodney, are you?
Yes.
Okay, so I am seeing you and not.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I have the screen up. I thought that would do it. I think it must have to be brought into Zoom some kind of way.
So at the bottom of your screen, you hit share screen and then click on the file that you're trying to show us.
Okay.
Pardon us, audience, this live thing is a whole ton of fun, and in the midst of it, we're gonna get it together for you. All right.
Okay, I'm clicking on share screen, but it's not giving me my PowerPoint.
So let me see if I can help you from this end. Please, 1 moment here.
Okay, I think I'm going to be able to get it.
Do you have it? I can share it from this end if you'd like. It says you're sharing the screen, and there you have it. I think you're up.
All right, sorry about that, you all. Okay, is it all there? Let's see. All right, so I just want to talk a minute about the various programs that exist. You know, there are a number of different types of contract compliance and procurement programs that will allow you to deal with issues associated with minority, women, small, disadvantaged business enterprises. One of those mechanisms are programs that are called legally race-conscious programs, where you basically say minority groups, African Americans, women, Asian Americans, Native Americans are going to have certain preferences associated with the procurement process, or will be given certain assistance in terms of the procurement process. You also have what's called race-neutral programs. And so in those race-neutral programs, they might be called bonding assistance, financial assistance, technical assistance, other small business assistance that's provided to all businesses without regard to race or ethnicity or gender. There are several federal programs. One is the DBE program. And so when federal dollars are involved with an entity such as Clayton County, oftentimes DBE programs are involved. Also, you have the ACDBE program. The ACDBE program is the Airport Concession Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. And so when you look at airport concessions, very often airport concessions are included in the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, and there are opportunities that exist for minorities and women in those programs. We also have programs which we call anchor institution programs. Those are programs that are designed to assist minority and women-owned businesses that are tied to major universities, such as Emory University or the University of Georgia system, or to hospitals such as Children's Healthcare of Atlanta or Piedmont Health System. We have private sector programs, community economic development programs. These private sector programs have a tendency to be focused mostly on supplier diversity. So you'll see Coca-Cola supplier diversity, you'll see companies like Georgia Pacific that have supplier diversity vendor fairs, opportunities for businesses to work in those spaces. And you have organizations like the Georgia Minority Supplier Development Council that work heavily with corporate supply diversity programs. And then you have community economic development programs where there are opportunities for minority and women-owned businesses to work, particularly in housing development and other community economic development areas. So within these race-conscious programs, we have several types of programs. One are goal-based programs where you say, we want at least 25% or 35% of the businesses that are utilized on this project to be minority, women-owned businesses. You have certain programs that are set-aside programs. Generally, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, from a legal standpoint, set-aside programs are difficult when it comes to race and ethnicity-based programs, but they are permissible when it comes to small business programs. There are also certain incentive programs. The state of Georgia has a program in which tax incentives are given if you use minority and women-owned businesses. It's not utilized very much, but it's still on the books in Georgia. We also have various race-neutral outreach efforts. These are efforts that are designed to encourage minority and women-owned businesses to get involved in the various activities of governmental entities. And we also have certain programs that we call supportive services. Those would be such as the Georgia Department of Transportation, which runs a supportive circle assistance to help you get bonding assistance, financial assistance. There are other programs through the SBA, the Small Business Administration, through what's called the SBDCs, the Small Business Development Centers. These programs all need to be looked at as opportunities for your business to engage, to get services, oftentimes at reduced or no cost, that will allow you to grow your business to the next level. These DBE programs are used for various programs that happen for various reasons related to highways particularly. So federal grant recipients for Federal Highway Administration funds all have a responsibility to administer a federal DBE program and set goals. If there are airports and other aviation facilities, those programs, the Atlanta airport is in Clayton County, it's administered by the city of Atlanta, but it has a strong FAA program, and of course, Clayton County has a small airport. In the Federal Transit Administration, those are programs such as you see with MARTA, and now Clayton County is part of MARTA. And all of these programs have to establish a federal DBE program. And these airport concession DBE programs operate under a set of specific rules, and they're in the Federal Code of Regulations of the 49 CFR Part 23. And basically they talk about the level of ownership, the level of investment, the types of businesses that can be involved. And so if you have a business that's in the restaurant area, or it's a small shop or retail shop, you have a unique product, there are often opportunities for you to supply those to airport as an airport concession program. Excuse me. So I want to talk a little bit about the legal basis for these programs. The 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution has a number of sections: citizenship clause, privileges and immunities clause, due process clause, and most importantly for our discussion, an equal protection clause. And the citizenship clause really provides a broad definition of citizenship. And I think the thing that has to be kept in mind is, particularly for African Americans, African Americans were not considered citizens of the United States prior to the passage of the 13th and the 14th Amendment. In 18 called Dred Scott v. Sanford, the Supreme Court ruled definitively that Africans were not considered citizens of the United States. And it was one of the things that precipitated the Civil War. It held that Americans that were descended from African slaves could not under any circumstances be citizens of the United States. And so the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, one of those, we hear a lot about the Reconstruction era. These Reconstruction amendments were developed to basically reverse a lot of those decisions that happened prior to the Civil War. And on July the 9th, 1868, the 14th Amendment was ratified. And the amendment basically addresses citizenship rights and equal protection of the laws. And it was proposed in response to how do you make these former slaves citizens of the United States and deal with their legal situation within the United States. And so it says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. And it also indicates that no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive anyone of law. And this is the most important, deny to any person within in its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. Now, these amendments were developed because Americans of African descent were declared by the Supreme Court to not be citizens. A war was fought. The 13th Amendment was passed, which said if you were born in the United States, you were legally a citizen of the United States. And the 14th Amendment was developed in order to protect those rights. So that's the background of the 14th Amendment. Now, we know that there was a substantial amount of discrimination that existed even after the passage of the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. There was a period of segregation that was occasioned by another Supreme Court decision that came out in 1896, Plessy versus Ferguson. And we know that there was a long period of active segregation, particularly in the Atlanta area, which was really the heart of the Confederacy. And so we know that there have been discriminatory laws that have been put in place and certain social customs that kept African Americans actually doing business with the governments in this area. And so a number of programs were put in place during the 1960s and 70s to afford opportunity for African Americans in particular, women in particular, and others who could demonstrate that they had been discriminated against, including Hispanics and Asians and Native Americans. In 1989, the Supreme Court ruled in a case called the City of Richmond versus J.A. Croson Company that even if you had a benign intent, that means if you were trying to help minorities, you were trying to help women, you were trying to somehow ameliorate past discrimination, you were still, as a government, if you tried to put a program like that in place, going to be held to the highest constitutional scrutiny. Previous to that, it had been held that you would be held to a lower level of constitutional scrutiny if you were trying to ameliorate past discrimination. And basically, it said that you had to show a compelling governmental interest in remedying past discrimination. And then any implementation of a program had to be from a method that was narrowly tailored to achieve the compelling governmental interest. And so this whole rubric that the Supreme Court came up with made it very difficult to effectively deal with discrimination that was historically put in place because of segregation, because of slavery, because of the extermination of Native Americans, because of certain restrictive laws that were put in place to impact people of Hispanic descent and Native Americans. And so once the Supreme Court applied this strict scrutiny standard, it said that it applied to any race-based program involving government procurement of goods and services. And it's the most stringent standard. These two prongs, a compelling governmental interest, you have to show that there's a compelling governmental interest, and then you have to show that whatever means you use to ameliorate any problems that you've identified, that you have determined you have a compelling governmental interest to deal with, you have to do it through the most, quote, narrowly tailored means. That means in a way that has the least impact on people who are not benefited by the program, but who might not have actually been the discriminators themselves. And so the court reasoned that you couldn't just have a statistical disparity. It said that you couldn't just have a statistical disparity in the population. You know, one of the things the city of Richmond said in the case that went before the Supreme Court was, hey, you know, this is a situation where there is a 50% of the population is Black, and yet Black people are receiving less than 1% of the contracts. That couldn't be fair. So it doesn't matter. It says that where there has to be a statistically significant disparity between the number of qualified minority contractors willing and able to perform a particular service and the number of such contractors actually engaged by the locality or the locality's prime contractor. So they basically stiffened the requirements that governments have in order to have these types of programs. And so with regard to the second prong of the strict scrutiny test, the Croson court said that Richmond's program was not narrowly tailored because it said the program was not remedial. They said because you couldn't prove that all of the groups that were included in the program actually had been discriminated against in Richmond. There had been a previous Supreme Court decision that had upheld the federal minority business program. And so most state and local governments adopted the definition of minority that the federal government used. But they were basically saying, well, in Richmond, there might not be any Eskimos, there might not be any Aleuts, and therefore the program is too broad. And they also determined that you have to look at past discrimination, and you have to have certain types of careful methods to ensure that you're not being overly discriminatory to people who weren't the actual discriminators themselves. And so what that led to is programs where you don't really have a set aside, where you can't say, I'm going to set aside a certain percentage of these projects to minority owned businesses, or I'm going to set a certain percentage of these projects aside for women owned businesses. Basically, goals are permissible, whereas what the courts call unyielding preferential quotas will normally cause any type of affirmative action plan in the area of procurement to fail from a legal standpoint. And it's important to keep all this legal mumbo jumbo in mind, not because you need to know it all, but because you need to recognize that oftentimes the way the programs are administered are governed by this underlying understanding of what the courts require. And it has an impact on how the courts, how the programs can be administered and the kinds of assistance that you can receive. And it helps you understand how you can best position yourself as a business person. Moving right along, narrowly tailoring doesn't require you exhaust every race-conscious alternative, but it does require you look at these race-neutral alternatives, And so it talks a little bit about the necessity for the relief. Can you show that it's necessary to do this to help minority and women-owned businesses? What is the flexibility and duration? That's why Usually in order to have a program, you have to do a disparity study, and the disparity studies usually are considered to be stale after about 5 to 7 years. You have to have a relationship between the goals and the marketplace. You have to show what are the actual opportunities for minority and women-owned businesses. Do they exist in the marketplace, and can they actually be utilized? And then what is the impact of this on the rights of innocent third parties? And so there was another case, which I will just hit very quickly, Adirondack versus Constructors versus Pena, came out in 1995. And it basically requires that the federal government programs be administered the same way as the state and local government programs. And, you know, with this whole idea of narrowly tailoring, the main thing is, does the program provide mechanisms for review and sunset? In other words, you can't put a program in place that's going to last forever. So as we wrap up, I want to talk to you a little bit about how you all can participate. One of the things that governments tend to try to do is to involve minority and women businesses in community economic development programs. There's going to be a lot of housing that's going to be created. There are going to be a lot of opportunities for other things in the community economic development sphere. And one of the things we work on is outreach. That is identifying firms that may not have already been in the government, training, financial assistance, and technical assistance. A lot of times there are opportunities in the private sector that can also benefit your business. And want to look at, you know, negotiated MWB programs. Sometimes, like we worked on a project, the World of Coca-Cola, where they agreed to use minority and women-owned businesses in exchange for receiving a tax break. There are anchor institution programs. So you need to look at opportunities with the health systems and with the major universities. And of course, you need to look into the corporate supplier diversity programs. And then there are notable technical assistance programs through the Small Business Development Center. Clayton State has a SBDC. Georgia State University has an SBDC. The University of Georgia has an SBDC. And they provide technical assistance, bonding assistance, and financial assistance. A lot of that will be talked about later on in this program. With regard to bonding assistance programs, one of the things you need to look at is the SBA. There are a lot of opportunities with the SBA. Also, on some major projects, there are what's called an OSIP, or an owner-controlled insurance program, that will assist you with bonding. And the Georgia Department of Transportation has a bonding assistance program through their supportive services area. And the SBA has these financial assistance programs. There are loan programs and community development financial institution programs, CDFIs. And that means you can go to banks like Citizens Trust Bank, and they can provide loans that can be backed by the SBA. And a lot of this technical assistance comes up through the Small Business Administration and through various chambers of commerce. And when you utilize the private sector, always look for those opportunities that exist when there are public dollars involved. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium is a good example, but hospitals, universities, sports franchises, corporations, all of these have opportunities for you as a business person. And look at these anchor institution programs, private sector supplier diversity programs, university programs, all these local benefit programs. So that concludes my time. But you can find us on the web at gspclaw.com, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you very much.
Great information. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you very much. We're going to take a couple of minutes to field any questions that you may have for Mr. Strong regarding his presentation. Be sure to type it in the chat area there. I do have one question just right off the top that was presented. So Rodney, will this presentation be made available?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I think I've already supplied it, but I can send it over to you again.
Okay, well, we have it, but we wanted to know if we were able to send it out.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Great.
You can send it to everyone. Please feel free.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you. Are there any questions for Rodney? There was great information on diversity programs that he gave. And while we're giving people just a moment to maybe think of any questions for Rodney, just really quickly, I just want to mention that Clayton County does have a certification program for small local business as well as for minority women and business-owned enterprises. If you're interested in certification with Clayton County, make sure that you visit our website, claytoncountyga.gov, under Central Services Department. Okay, and if there are no questions for Rodney, then we're going to move right along with our agenda. And we'll hear from Mr. Steve Daniel from, he's a pre-construction engineer project manager. Oh, I'm sorry, we do have one question. One question in the chat. Okay, the question.
I see it, and she's asking about getting funding for a transportation company. And I would say that the very first step ought to be to discuss it with the people at the SBDC, and also approach them and ask them for recommendations on SBA funding. SBA funding usually guarantees about 90%. You can usually get about a 90% loan guarantee. And so there are lenders that particularly specialize in SBA financing, and that is definitely the best and cheapest money that you're going to get as a small business, especially in the early stages.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Rodney?
And just to be clear, when I say SBA, I'm talking about the United States Federal Government Small Business Administration. They're located in the Peachtree Center in the Harris Tower, and they can be very helpful. I just referred someone to them a few weeks ago that was able to fund, and they were actually happened to be a construction company in the transportation area, and they were immediately able to get funding. So it's a very good source.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rodney. Okay. Let's see. There's another question. What is the process for tapping into tax incentive programs for using minority contractors?
Yeah, a lot of times what that means is that there will be projects that have tax incentives. And if they have tax incentives, they're very often going to require participation. So depending on the tax incentive program, for instance, in Atlanta, there's Invest Atlanta. There are certain tax allocation districts. And within those districts, there are goals for the participation of minority and women-owned businesses. So even if you're in the retail space, oftentimes you can get preferences in terms of leasing space because you're a minority-owned business, or you can participate if you're in the construction area, or if you're a supplier on any of those, because there are goals for participation. In order to get the tax incentive, the developer has generally committed to reach certain goals in terms of participation. So the way to do that is to look at all the programs that are where there are going to be new developments that are coming out. You can generally find all of those new development programs listed with Invest Atlanta. You can also find them. Clayton County has certain jurisdictions within Clayton County and the Development Authority that do certain tax incentive programs as well. And most of the other jurisdictions in the metro area do as well. And those will provide you with opportunity, because what they do is they set goals on projects that you wouldn't normally think there would be a goal. You know, you would think it's a private sector project because it's a 25 or 35 or 45 unit apartment complex, but it turns out that they received tax incentives and they made a commitment to use minority and women-owned businesses as part of their receipt of those tax commitments.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, we do have a couple of minutes. We're ahead of schedule, so I want to take the opportunity to just mention, if you are a business joining us, please make sure that you put your information in the chat area. Take this opportunity to network as much as you possibly can in this environment. I want to say thank you to Spellman Consulting Group and DW Transportation for joining us. Thank you to Smart Buildings, DCJ Global Management Solutions for joining us. So again, please make sure you put your business information into the chat area. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next presenter. And we're here from Mr. Steve Daniel, Pre-Construction Engineer Project Manager for Transportation and Development for Clayton County SPLOST. And he is going to talk about our SPLOST Transportation and Development projects.
Good morning. Welcome to everyone that's joining us for this virtual vendor fair. Happy to see that we've got so many people joining us. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about some of our transportation and development projects through our SPLOST, and we're going to look at some of the projects that have been constructed, some that are under construction, and some that will be coming up shortly in the future. Again, my name is Steve Daniel. I work with Atlas Consulting. I consult here with the county as a pre-construction engineer / project manager for the transportation department. I oversee the transportation projects that come through our office, anywhere from sidewalks to major 4-lane highway designs, dealing with phases that consist of preliminary design, right-of-way design, utility coordination, including coordination with the railroads, environmental studies, final design and estimates, and then final deliverables to get things ready for advertising the project for construction. Also, as part of my responsibility is making sure that the project design is conformity to the scope, schedule, and budget for that project established during the planning stages. To take a look at some of the projects we completed in 2020, here's a project, Windsor Drive culvert replacement. This project had a culvert that, existing culvert that was so bad that they had put barricades up to keep traffic from going across this culvert. And this project was designed in-house, and it was completed earlier this year. You can see the before and after pictures. Another project that was completed recently was the Godby Road widening project up in College Park area. We took a 2-lane roadway of Godby Road, and we constructed a 4-lane roadway with a raised concrete median in the center, which opened up lanes for traffic to stop a lot of the rear-end collisions that they were having with people turning left on this roadway. Another project that we completed was Steer Road project there, Stagecoach Road, where the new East Clayton schools are being built. You can see in the before picture, this was a 1-lane, one-way roadway, and we widened it out to a 2-lane roadway with a roundabout near the East Clayton schools. Flint River Road is another project that we took a 2-lane roadway and widened it out to a 2-lane with an additional center 2-way left turn lane. This project here was also completed recently. Full depth reclamation project. We had a full depth reclamation project on Forest Parkway, starting at State Route 54 and ending at State Route 42. And this project was completed recently. This project was mainly from curb to curb project without needing any additional right of way or anything like that. But we did go in and upgrade or replace some of the wheelchair ramps as we saw needed. And now we're going to talk about some projects that's under construction. We have 2 projects now that are currently under construction. One is a sidewalk project, which is a Rex Road sidewalk on Old Rexmar Road, to Omar Rex Road to State Route 42. This project consists of construction of 5-foot sidewalks on a portion of that road that ends at State Route 42. That project is about 80% complete. Excuse me. That project is about 80% complete, and we hope to have that one completed by the end of January 2021. Also, a project that's under construction right now is Valley Hill Road bridge replacement, bridge over Flint River Road. This is a major undertaking where we're changing the grade and we're widening that roadway from a 2-lane road to a 4-lane roadway. And that project is just getting started. We expect the completion date on that one to be late 2022. Now, for our upcoming transportation project, we have several projects coming up. This first one listed widening of Battle Creek Road and Mount Zion Boulevard. This is one of the largest projects that we've let here in the county. This was designed by an outside consultant, but this one we recently advertised this project and received bids, and it's at GDOT now awaiting construction agreements. But this is the widening of Battle Creek Road and Mount Zion Boulevard from Valley Hill Road all the way up to Somerton Drive. It's about 5.5 miles. Taking a lot of this, which is 2-lane roadway, and making it 4-lane roadway with a raised concrete median. The Old Rex Morrow Road is another project that we got coming up. This is a roundabout. We have 2 roundabouts. One is at Old Rex Morrow at Maddox roundabout. This one, we've got the bid documents that we're working on and hope to get that down so that it can be advertised pretty soon. This is also designed by a outside consultant. Lake Jodico Road is designed by the same consultant that designed the Old Rex Morrow Road at Maddox. It's a similar roundabout, just 2 different locations. And we hope to get this one out pretty soon as well. The Valley Hill Road widening project, this project was designed in-house by our in-house engineers. This project here connects the Valley Hill Bridge project with the Battle Creek Road project. This project here, we've already completed the bid document preparation. Now it's just a matter of getting it down to Central Services for review and advertisement. Lake Jodico Road at Emerald Drive. This project consists of the realignment of Emerald Drive at the intersection of Lake Jodico. It's a small project where we are realigning the T intersection, making it more of a 90, which would be a lot safer for traveling public. This project is in its final design stages and hope to get that out in the next 6 months. Also, there are bridge maintenance projects that we're looking at. We're waiting on the new report to come out to start our assessment of the maintenance on all these bridges throughout the county. And we hope to get this out the door to be advertised by mid-2021. We have several full depth reclamation projects coming up and several sidewalk projects coming up. Full depth reclamation, Dixon Industrial Boulevard, Glenwoods Drive, Stonewall Jackson, and Post Way. These projects are in the early stages of design, and we plan on trying to get these out before the end of next year. Also, the proposed sidewalk projects that we have right now are Rex Road, which is actually in design right now, preliminary design phase. Poston Road, Kendrick Road, Brown Road, Webb Road, and then Flat Shoals Road. Again, we are trying to get everything ready, the plans and the bid documents ready to advertise before the end of the year. And that's all I have. If there are any questions or answers, I will try to answer them at this time.
Please place any questions or comments that you might have for this particular presentation with Mr. Daniels. And to hear about any other, or I'm sorry, to get more information on our SPLOST projects, Please visit claytonsploss.com, and you can get more information on any of the SPLOS projects that are mentioned here today. Also, I do want to mention that for Clayton County, we placed a 20% goal on our A&E projects, as well as a 30% goal on our construction projects. The roadway projects are 20% as well. Are there any questions?
There's a couple of questions in the chat. One of the questions is, how do we find out about these products? Tammy, you can answer that for them.
Okay, the projects are listed on our website at claytonsplost.com, and we also advertise our bids on our website as well for claytoncountyga.gov. But to find out more information on the current projects and upcoming projects for SPLOST, please visit claytonsplost.com. Okay, there's questions in the chat.
And hi, Tammy, this is Carol. Just to kind of give some additional information, I know that everyone is wondering when the projects that Steve spoke about, when will they be available to access? The process for the county is, once the documents are ready for bid, to Steve's point, everything is sent over to Central Services. At that point, we do let me take my little thing off. I apologize. At that point, we do advertise the bids, as Tammy spoke of, and they are available on our website as well as the state's website. What we encourage you to do to make sure that you're able to access the information is to register as a vendor. As a vendor, we will make sure once the bids go out that you receive it via email. So that is the process. Also, I think there's a question about the goals, SLBE and DBE. It depends upon the funding source, what type of goals will be placed on the project. If it's a county funding source, such as SPLOST, that is normally the small local business enterprise. That's normally the roadway goals that Tammy spoke of, which is 20% standard. If it's a GDOT funded project, it probably will have the DBE goals, which is the disadvantaged business enterprise. And those goals are usually set by the state's GDOT office. So that's just to give you some information on that.
Hello, we can't hear anything.
Hi,
Okay.
Tammy. Okay, there you go.
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read the questions here. They're scrolling as I'm trying to read them, so I'm trying to catch back up to them. There's a couple more that are here. Let's see. I believe that Carol has answered those questions about where to find the projects and how to access the bidding documents. Let's see here. Mr. Daniel mentioned that some projects use outside consultants and some are done in-house. Which services do you source to outside firms for transportation and sidewalk projects? Steve, can you answer that?
The service that we source out to outside firm is a turnkey project. They do the complete design for the project. And I just manage their design to make sure that it conforms to what we want in the contract with that firm.
Okay. There's a question about bids that are on the site dating August and October. And will the site be updated anytime soon? I believe those bids are still open. I'd have to check the site just to be sure. But they are normally updated to make sure that all of the projects are current that are listed there. Okay, and with that, I don't see any other questions. So we'll move on. Okay, so next we have our breakout sessions. And again, remember that when you registered, you selected your breakout sessions. Please give us just a couple of minutes to make sure that everyone is moved into those sessions. Reminding you to, once you get in there, that you will need to hit the video button, start video button, in order for you to hear and see the presenter. And once the session is over, you will automatically be brought back into the main room. The sessions could be shorter. There is a 30-minute time allotted. However, the session's presentation may be shorter. Please use that time that you're there in the room to network in the chat area. Make sure you put your information there so that you can exchange information that way. And while we're waiting for you to be moved, I'm sorry, there's a question?
Yeah, quick question. You said we got to hit one of these for the session, for a breakout session?
No, you will be moved automatically.
Okay, I will.
Yes, you will be moved automatically. It's going to take a few minutes for them to get everyone moved into their room, so just stand by.
Okay.
Okay. All right, people are moving into their sessions now. Take just a couple of minutes for everyone to get there. So we have bonding, estimating, meet the prime contractor, and how to become a sub-consultant. And it looks like everyone has been moved.
Tammy? Tammy, are you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you and I are still in the main room along with Mia and BB Love. BB, are you here still? And Antoine?
Yes, I see her. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we should be the only ones still in the main room. I am going to bounce from room to room. Do you still not want to be assigned? Do either of you want to be assigned to any rooms? I left you out because you had not selected one.
No, I can stay in the main room. That's fine.
Okay, and so what will happen? Oh, and thank you, Tammy. As we were going through this, Katrina and I were talking and thought it would be better for, can you mute yours? For you to be able to let it be your. Can you do a whole mute, but like turn the sound off completely? I'm sorry, 1 second. We're in the same office trying to do everything.
I can't. I'm not going to office because I'm trying to monitor.
No, it's okay though, just for a minute. The whole thing. I'm sorry. We're doing true production stuff back here. So Tammy, the questions at the end of the session, I think flows better when you're the one who is actually answering them. We were going to facilitate the Q&A at the end, and we thought about jumping in and do the questions at the end of each session. But Katrina would made a good point, which was that them hearing your voice as the moderator rather than this voice from the wilderness out here, you know, who's this person talking to me? So yeah, okay. If you need help keeping up with the questions or something, let us know. But that was, I'm sorry, kind of on the fly, on the spot moment of figuring this may work.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay because I'm kind of used to doing that with the workshops that we do. So it's just kind of, it was habit forming, but you know, and then there was like a delay and lag, and you know, when you hear, you know, the black silence there, it's, you know, I just jumped in.
We were back here going, should I say something? And it was like, hold on, so I'm following Katrina. Okay, type her a note really quickly. So at the end of the sessions, that will be good. Okay, let's see, Ms. Gail Wilcoxon, I think, had to sign to a session. Yeah. I'm going to. Okay, so yeah, Katrina's bouncing from room to room and I'm going to do the same. So you guys, what will happen is at the end of the session, as we said, you'll see the 1-minute warning or notice that says you are, we'll be returning you back to the main room. So if you got something else to do for 20, 30 minutes, then make yourself comfortable. Then just be on tap in the next, say, 20 minutes to be back on, Tammy, because we'll put you back on the screen and it'll be for you to roll from there. Do you have any questions as of right now, Tammy?
Oh, okay. Just 1 second, Julia. Elise Fluellen, and she's in estimating, and she wanted to be in where?
Where does she want to be?
Okay. Okay. We'll see. We can move her. All right. Thanks. Bye. That's a Miss Fluellen says that she's in estimating, and she wanted to be in Meet the Prime, the subcontractor.
Elise. Okay, I'm going to move her
Elise.
to Prime. All right, we'll move her now. Got it. Okay. Some of the people who had not registered prior to the start of the event ended up not maybe getting assigned, pre-assigned like we had done.
Okay. And Gail is here. Gail should be in.
Okay, Miss Gail.
Yes.
What breakout room? I think I have you for how to be an A&E subcontractor.
Right.
Okay, so let me put you there when you seem to have moved out of the meeting and back in. So now
I know. Yeah, I did.
Okay, so we're going to see if we can get you over to that room. If you'll give us 1 moment here.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right, ladies. So this gives you about 20 minutes to do with what you need. And we're timing over here. They've got about another 25 minutes in those rooms and then we'll shut down and bring everybody back into the main room. And then at that point, Tammy, your picture will be back on screen and you will be back in charge.
Okay.
And launch it again. So setting the timer over here.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
Ms. Taylor, can you put me into Brad Construction Company? How do you, I want to be over there in
Who's talking? Is that BB?
BB, yeah. I'm just listening to you all chit chat right now. So I decided, let me interrupt. And
you want to go ahead and go into a breakout room?
Brian,
I'm putting you there now.
Okay, thank you.
And there we go. And Mia, you're on mute. Would you like to be in a room? Tammy and Antoine wanted to just hang out in the main room.
Actually, you can send me to the estimating.
Okay, I'll put you in estimating.
Thank you.
Sending you now.
Actually, Mia just typed in the chat that she signed up for the sub-consultant group.
Okay, I could not find her on my list, and maybe that she came in later. So Mia, I'm putting you in sub-consultant now. And Tammy, you still want to hang in the main room?
Yes, and I'm going to step away just for a second.
No problem. I'm going to go from room to room, and I'll see you back in a few, about 20 minutes. All right. I know who that is, so let me turn this way down.
Oh, yeah.
You already have your instructions on unmuting your mic. Let's see how many people do we have. We have 9 participants. Let's see here. Okay. Well, let me share this with you. The objective of this situation, what we're looking at, is to introduce elements of bonding process to you. And we'll talk about the elements, and we'll define various aspects of a bond, which is very important that you understand. And we'll discuss some pre-qualification requirements. Clearly, at the start, there has to be an understanding of the parties to a bond. There are 3 parties. One is the surety company, which takes on the obligation that the obligee, who is the owner in this case, would be Clayton County, and you would be considered the principal in this process, in the bonding process. As you see, the principal contractor is the party primarily responsible for the fulfillment of the obligations set forth in the bond. And then the obligee is the owner. He's the benefit, or she's the benefit, or they are the benefit. The surety bonding company underwrites the contract. And that's where we need to have a clear understanding by the surety company underwriting the contract. What you want to keep in mind is that we are talking about contract surety bonding. So there has to be a contract involved in order for a bond to be required.
Mr. Banner?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, I see that you just joined the meeting a few minutes after. So we are in breakout rooms at this point. Is there a session that you signed up for? Because we're in the meeting, I can't see what you signed up for. Where would you like to go?
Bidding.
Estimating?
Yes, estimating. And
I'm
I
going-
have a question. Can I come down somewhere and do a estimate?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Like, is it a building? Can I come down to the building and pick up a form?
So when
for the
you're in that
estimating?
session, you can ask that question. We are all virtual. Nobody's in a building today. But you can
Okay.
ask that question once you're in the session, and the presenter there will be able to help you. And that
Okay.
the questions will be asked at the end of the session. And so what's happening, just since you're just joining, at the end of each session, we'll have a few minutes for questions. You'll need to stay on mute, however, because you'll need to type your question into the chat box, and then we'll be able to
Okay.
correspond. I just wanted to speak to you and get you to where you needed to be.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sending you to the estimating session now. It'll last for about another 20 minutes, and then you'll be brought back to the main room. When I send you over, you may have to click the join button, but other than that,
Okay.
you should go pretty automatically. Have a good time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the breakout rooms, oh good. I forgot I had the whole counter automatically set while I'm over here doing it on my phone. Oh, did I press mute? My bad.
Arena, as you will. Now, there's no risk transfer between the principal and the surety. The principal retains all responsibilities in respect to the obligee. That means you are on the hook 100% to the owner to perform the work according to the specs. I get asked frequently, what's the premium? Premiums can range anywhere from $12 a thousand, $30 a thousand, but actually it's not a premium. It's called a service fee. The reason for that is the surety company does not assume that there will be a loss. You know, when you buy insurance, you have a three-party contract. You have the insurance company, you have yourself, okay? No, excuse me, a two-party contract, just you and the insurance company. And when you buy insurance, they promulgate the rates according to expectations of having a loss. That's not the case with bonding. We don't expect to have a loss. So we charge a service fee to, quote, underwrite the risk. Suretyship underwriting principles more closely resemble banking. Excuse me. They more resemble banking because it's a credit instrument. Creditors want to know three things just like the bonding company. They want to know about your capital, your financial statement. They want to know what your capacity is. That is in terms of, do you have the proper superintendents? Do you have the proper labor force? What has been your prior history? And then they're interested in your character. Now, character can be commonly thought of as a credit matrix. However, it could be a conversation that I may have with your vendors or with one of your subcontractors or architects or engineers that you've done business with. So that's one of the differences between bonding, and banking, because the banker has to want to know these things, but they are not as interested as the surety company. Let me explain why. The surety company is guaranteeing to the owner that in the event of your default, they have the obligation to complete the project, not the bank.
Ms. Williams. Hi, I'm Gilia. I'm helping co-host and do production behind the scenes. I see that you joined in, which means you probably registered a little bit later. We're in the middle of breakout sessions right now. I'd like to put you in whichever room you're interested in attending. They'll be going for about another 15 minutes. Which session would you like to attend? And you'll have to unmute.
I have no idea. I have a cleaning service.
Okay.
So however or whichever one you can put me in, I don't know.
Okay, so for that, as a small business with a cleaning service, do you bid on contracts?
Yes.
I'm going to stick you in the room for, you want to learn how to be a subcontractor to a construction company, or would you rather learn how to do estimating so when you're doing bids, you can figure that?
Subcontract.
Okay, I'm going to put you in a subcontractor room now, and that will be going for another 15 minutes, and then you'll be brought back to the main session when it ends. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hang tight.
Okay.
Ms. Blakely?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Gilia. I'm doing production behind the scenes and helping get everybody in place. I see that you've joined us a few minutes late, so I want to get you to the breakout session that you are interested in. I apologize, I cannot see the registration at this point. Which session would you like to be a part of?
I believe it was one on, so I'm an engineer, so I think there was one geared towards the technical aspects.
Okay, so probably how to be an architecture engineer subconsultant?
Probably.
Okay, they'll be going on for about another 15 minutes. I'm going to put you in that session, and when it's over, it will bring you back to the main session. You may just have to click the join button. And so that way you can enjoy the rest of that. Hang tight, I'll get you placed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to have you.
Hey, Julia.
Down in the chat. If I happen to skip a question, feel free, send me an email, slambert@ican1.com. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
And Seth, those
does look like there is a question in the chat already. It says, how are on-call type of contract pricing reviewed or estimated? You're muted, Seth.
I'm sorry. They're very similar to existing projects or any other construction project from a review standpoint. Instead of, from an on-call perspective, usually what municipalities are looking for is they don't always get one contractor, awarded on those type of projects, because what they get into is they have a lot of on-call situations where they have multiple things that need to be done. So usually they're awarding an on-call contract to say 2 or 3 different contractors. That way they don't have as many schedule impacts when they do have these on-call situations come up. An on-call it could be a storm pipe replacement, of 20 foot of storm pipe. It could be, hey, we need to add a handicap ramp here. It could be, hey, we need to add a handicap ramp at each corner of this existing intersection. So they try and award those to more.
I just wanted
I'm not going anywhere.
No, she mentioned something very, very important. She mentioned that if you're certified with, I think she mentioned City of Atlanta, and if I'm saying this wrong, I think it's Henry County, City of Atlanta, DeKalb, is Fayette, in Fulton County. Is that correct?
Right, but there's a special program that we have that requires only a few documents if you are certified with the City of Atlanta and with DeKalb County, also with Clayton County Water Authority. I forgot about that. And DBE. Forgot both of them. I mean, not DBE, but GDOT. That's DBE, right? GDOT. Yeah. Those particular programs will allow you just to give us maybe 3 or 4 pieces of document, and we can certify you really rather quickly. If you don't, then we have to go through the entire process, which is easy because I'm here to help.
Gail is great.
Gail, can you answer, is there any time that they would have to recertify?
Yes, if you are a certified vendor, it is 3 years for SLBE. It is 2 years for the minority program.
You all should call Gail. She is great to work with. She is as nice as she seems right now. She is that nice all the time.
You.
So call Gail. She is very, very helpful. I'm glad that she was here. I'm glad that you hear that you mentioned that. Yes, by all means, yes, please.
And another thing I'd like to mention, if I may, Dana.
Sure.
I like to tell vendors that if you are trying to find out what we do in Clayton County and how we do it, when there is a particular bid, we have, is it e-bids now? And they have Zoom meetings where you can go on and participate. You don't necessarily have to say anything, but that's an opportunity for you to be able to see what's going on in those bid meetings, so that when you have your opportunity, if you want to be a prime on a bid, then you'll know what's going on. You'll kind of know the steps. You don't have to necessarily know, if that's a project that is pertaining to what you do, but it still gives you an opportunity to kind of see what's going on in the room. So I tell all of my vendors to try to do that first, and just get as much information and network as much as possible. I'm done.
No, please go to the pre-bid conferences as well for these bids. Whether you're a prime or a sub or not, or a sub, go to the pre-bid conference, go to the pre-bid meetings. Sometimes they're mandatory.
At
Okay, hold on, let me write it.
S. Lambert at ican1.com. That's SLAM.
Hold on, one.
Delia?
Hey, Tammy.
Hey, just so I'm straight on this, on the Q&A session that's going to be at the very end where you guys are doing the overall answering or calling out the questions.
Exactly. So what you'll need to do is when we get to the Q&A session, and even leading up to it, like when you open this one, you may want to say, for the panel particularly, be sure to type your questions in. And if you have any questions from the sessions you've been to that didn't get answered, at the end, everybody will be sticking around. And so go ahead and type your questions in the chat box.
Okay.
And we'll address those during the Q&A session at the end.
Okay, all righty. So now the Q&A session is not just for the panel, correct?
I'm sorry, say it again.
The Q&A session after the panel discussion is not just for the panel discussions, for the overall? Is that the one? Because there's only one
That was
Q&A.
my understanding of it, and if I'm mistaken, correct me, but I thought it would be good to have Q&A for overall, some for the, a Q&A session for the panel at the end of that session, but also a reminder that if you've got any other questions you want to ask, this is the time to do it. So you may be able to just merge those two, Tammy. It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But okay, all right, great, thanks.
Good job, Madam Hostess. I can tell you've been emceeing at church somewhere.
No, look, we do a lot of these workshops, so it's.
You got fancy science here. Look, this vendor, all-inclusive vendor fair is a new format for me.
It really is. It's now this is a new format for us. I mean, we do our workshops virtually, but not with having the
60-second Tammy, people are coming back in. We'll pick up later. Okay, they have 47 seconds. They are coming back into the main room. So I'm going back on mute, Tammy. I will put you back up on the screen with the share screen, and you'll be back in charge.
All right. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope that the sessions proved to be beneficial to you, that there was some great information. I definitely want to say thank you to our breakout session presenters, Fifth Down Consulting Group, Integrated Construction and Mobility, Brad Construction Company, as well as Mr. Dana Smith with Clayton County SPLOST Atlas Technical Consultants. Okay, so let's see, making sure that everyone is back. Making sure that everyone is back, and I believe everyone should be back right now. Again, I hope that you got some great information during those breakout sessions. And so we're gonna move right along. And next we will hear from Mr. Dana Smith with, he's the project manager for Clayton County SPLOST with Atlas, and he is gonna give us some information on SPLOST lessons learned. Dana?
Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Tammy. I had to remember that I was speaking again today for the sake of time. So no problem. But thanks everybody for being here again. Again, I appreciate it. I know you heard it a lot of times today, but you heard it again. So I just want to talk very quickly about SPLOST lessons learned, just some things that over the course of the SPLOST program, we have learned and we want to share with you all, because the goal again is to be successful, which means to be getting better. And one of the best ways to do that is just learn from everything that you experienced in the past. Like I said in my breakout session, I've been working on the SPLOST program here in Clayton County for the past 3 years, and I focused on the vertical projects, which is all the buildings going up vertically, the libraries, the police precinct, the fire stations. My coworker, Steve Daniels, who also works for Atlas on SPLOST, he works, as he mentioned, on just the transportation side, the horizontal roadways and sidewalks and bridges. So we just want to thank everybody for being here again, and just wanted to make that clarity really quick. And we kind of two arms of the same body. So some lessons learned from SPLOST. Really quick, because I know my time is short on this one. Some things that we learned, so everybody can see my screen. Slide one is that it seems very self-explanatory. It seems very fundamental, but it's read the scope of work. We can't tell you how many times and how many conversations, by we, I mean myself, Tammy, Gail, Carol, Steve, etc., have got into situations where we found out that certain entities did not fully read the scope of work of the services they were supposed to provide for a project, for a contract. Study your big documents, study your contracts to fully understand what it is that you're supposed to be providing, what the county is expecting you to perform, and the end result of what they're expecting to get. Because that has caused situations and confusions and problems on several instances and several projects on about just not fully understanding the scope of work, right, for the project. The next one I'd like to say is don't let the zeal eat up your house. Some of you that may have a biblical background may be familiar with that term, don't let the zeal eat up your house. Meaning, please don't over exaggerate what you think you can do or overestimate your forces or overextend your forces when bidding a project, when looking at a bid, when talking to a prime contractor or to the county about the contract. Be honest about your abilities. I mean, we all know business is about taking risks, but be honest with the county, with any other owner for that matter, with the GC, with the prime consultant, about what you can do. And also if something changes, if you take on more work than you had started with the project with, or if you get hit with some sort of catastrophe, i.e. COVID, so that way adjustments can be made. That way you keep the integrity of relationships. Please, 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 I say this again, don't let your eyes be bigger than your stomach. So please, 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 just keep that in mind. Don't let the zeal eat up your house. It's happened before. It's become problematic. It could get messy, and that's not what we want. We want you all to be successful. Another lesson learned that we learned is document everything. Document everything. This may seem business 101, but again, even in 2020, it's still something to remember, because again, we've seen the instances where people have not documented change orders, have not documented contracts, have not documented agreements on certain scopes of work. And ultimately, it puts you, the contractor, the subconsultant, in a very bad spot. I've sat in conversations with people and felt really bad for them, their story, telling about the 6-figure deficit that they have or money that they're waiting on from the prime contractor. And there's not much I can do about it, because when I say, what was your contract? What was your agreement? Oh, I didn't have one. What was your agreement for that change? Oh, I didn't have one. We just talked about it and I started doing the work. At least get an email, a text message or something. So please, again, document everything. Document when you get it. Document before you start. Document what your agreement is. Like the last slide said, no documentation means no proof, and it means it didn't happen. You just did something for free. And that's not what we want to see anybody happen to anybody, but that's what can happen and has happened in the past. So please document everything. Another lessons learned is pre-qualification. It's about the pre-qualification versus capacity versus experience. We talked about in my breakout sessions moments ago, the importance of getting pre-qualified. You should definitely get pre-qualified. Get pre-qualified. It's great, it's important, you should do it. But pre-qualification isn't the same as having the capability of doing the particular project or performing those services when it gets put out for bid, and it's not the same as having the experience in that field, especially if it's specialized, to do the work. Just because you're pre-qualified, it doesn't close the book and mean that everything is okay. It's a great step in the process, but also make sure that you're capable to perform the service. Make sure that you have the experience on your team to perform the service. Or if you don't, then be upfront and honest about that. Maybe make a partnership with someone, another firm or entity to tackle the job. Do a joint venture to tackle the project so that you can gain some of that, or connect with a prime who has that so that you can glean information from them, experience from them, and still do it. But we've seen several complicated issues come up by not having the capability, the manpower, or just the know-how to do a project, or not having the experience in a particular area. Even if it may be somewhere near your scope of services, but it's specialized. If it's, you're a plumber, and we're doing a water park and we need you to do a lazy river, like, make sure that you can really do that. If you've been doing residential plumbing for 15 years, and then we ask you to do the new $100,000, admin building, I'm not saying it is, $100,000 or $100 million admin building, excuse me, make sure that you have the capabilities and experience to do that, and that you don't bite off more than you can chew, as the previous slide. So again, lessons learned. Also, pre-qualification is great, but it doesn't mean that you're exempt. Pre-qualifying you doesn't mean that you're exempt from applying and adhering to the rules and the regulations that the county has, the state, the contract that you have with the county or your prime. It doesn't mean that it gives you the excuse to provide unsatisfactory work just because I'm SLBE or WBE doesn't, and I'm pre-qualified, isn't a get out of jail free card, and I don't have to do what I'm supposed to do by the contract or the rules and regulations. That is not the case. Again, we've seen it get people in trouble. So just keep that in mind. You have to fulfill the oath that you are saying that you can do when you sign up to do the work for the county ultimately. And a positive note, partnerships and gleaning works. We've seen, and I used the example in the breakout session I did, that making the right partnerships between sub-consultants and primes and subcontractors and primes, and even even on the same level between vendor to vendor, it works. It creates long-lasting success. There are many, I've talked to prime contractors in the SPLOST program that have said, hey, I met this vendor, this sub-consultant, this subcontractor in Clayton County doing SPLOST, and I'm gonna put them on my next job for the next project I do on the other side of the Metro Atlanta. So just keep that in mind. It only helps you, and you glean information, you expand your business, you expand your knowledge, you expand the capabilities and experience we just talked about by making those connections, those relationships. And it helps you grow because as you glean from Clayton County and as those primes do work and you work with them, and then you get more business and then you expose yourself to other clientele. So it really does work. Again, I use the example in the last breakout session that I know of a design team right now that has worked on 4 or 5 Clayton County projects as a sub-consultant to the prime firms, and it's been nothing but successful for him because of the way that he's strategized that and performance of the work that he's done, and he'll probably continue to do even more work for them and other firms. And so again, it works. And that's it, because I think they only gave me like 5 minutes, so I'm gonna stop there. I don't know, Tammy, if I have time for questions, but I'll take some now. If I do, if I don't, then we can just always ask at the end.
Yes, absolutely. There's time for questions. If there's any questions or comments that you have for Dana, please type them into the chat area. And while we're waiting for that, I just want to say thank you to Banker Cleaning Services, Alternative Finance and Business Strategies, Intellectual Concepts, LLC, McIntyre Fencing. Thank you for joining us today. Open Door Builders Foundation, Fourth Dimension Technologies, Lori Transportation. Thank you for joining us today. Again, make sure that you type your business information in the chat area. We want to make this as much as a networking environment as possible. Again, if there's any questions for the presentation that Dana just provided to you, please put your questions or comments in the chat area. If you don't take anything away today, please, the information that Dana gave, those were nuggets of gold, okay? Especially for those who are interested in engaging the bid process, okay? Lessons learned, you have to take that away. Very important information. Thank you, Dana, for that.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome.
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. So before we move on, Lori's Transportation, Optimizing Business Solutions, Acura Engineering, Piper O'Brien Hair Architects, and Brad Construction Company. Thank you for joining us today. All right, and then we're gonna go on to the next presentation. We have Mr. Menelik Aline Esquire. He is the Assistant Administrator external programs for Georgia Department of Transportation, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, and subrecipient requirements. Okay, Menelik.
Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to set up my presentation here. Let me share my screen. Okay. In a second, I'll share it. Okay. Let's see if this is here. Beautiful. Okay, so that everybody can see that, right? So again, I'm Menelik Ali. I'm the assistant administrator for external programs. I want to first give a shout out to my brother Rodney Strong, who provided an excellent walkthrough in terms of a legal basis and rationale for these programs. Also giving me a bounce pass to talk about the DBE program. I will say that, of course, the program is administered through the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highways, and is defined and given authority through the Code of Federal Regulations. But when it comes to DBE and small business, I don't like it to talk about the F word, okay? And we know what the F word is, as in federal program. I like to talk about the P word, as in people, because these programs, small businesses, is all about people. We understand that behind every small business is our people looking to live the American dream, looking to support their families. We know that small businesses are vital to the U.S. economy. We know that small businesses create 2/3 of all net new jobs in the economy. We also know that small businesses spur economic development, spur competitiveness and innovation. And so I'm going to go through my presentation now. I'm going to go through it, and I'm also going to take questions at the end. But the last slide also has my contact information, so you can always follow up with me directly. GDOT is open for business throughout the pandemic and throughout all of what we do. We have been engaging DBEs and doing all of the work that we normally do, even more so. If you know that some of the stimulus money that came down, everyone wants to support infrastructure, and that's what we're all about here, of course, here at GDOT. We provide multifaceted opportunities for DBE engagement in federally funded projects. These are projects that are have any amount of federal funding. It could be $1, or it could be 100% federally funded on highways, on bridges, any of that. We have state-funded projects that offer DBE opportunities as well. State-funded projects can be largely maintenance on the landscaping, the sort of fixing of the roads in terms of keeping the potholes and the guardrails and things of that nature, which is largely maintenance. But we also have capital projects that are strictly state funded. These are considered HB 170 capital projects, and these also have not only a DBE requirement, but also a small business or veteran-owned business. So if you're not DBE certified, or if you're not eligible to be a DBE, but you're a small business, there is still opportunity for you. And then we have our mega projects. These are considered under our MMIP program, which are major mobility investment programs. These are projects that are huge programs, huge projects, starting in the tens of millions to the billions of dollars. When we talk about projects that are used to reduce traffic time, curb pollution, enhanced freight movement. So these are the big things where you see in the metro area, you see 285, 400. We see we are creating express lanes. You see down in the Savannah, Chatham area, you have major interchanges that we're doing. So this is major projects, and we want to see, and we also support DBE participation throughout all of those projects. I just spent the last 3 weeks crunching numbers. I could tell you for a fact that over the last about 12 months or so, we spent probably $200 million committed to DBE enterprises and small businesses. Lots of money, lots of opportunity to share with you. Project participation. we talk about the goal setting, and I have to give a shout out to Carol, who mentioned the goal setting earlier. I'm talking about our goals. I will say that our annual overall agency goal is 16%. That's as an agency for all of our goals, which means at the end of the year, we want to have a participation of 16%. However, from project to project, that particular goal may be higher or less than, just depending on the project. So each project that you see here, or each project that I'm talking about here, I am the one who sets the goal on each and every project. This is where the rubber meets the road, where you talk about, from what Rodney talked about the legal sort of basis for these programs. And this is the execution of that with a real rationale. There's no arbitrariness of this. This is a real sort of rational method to this. So I look at every project that's being let every month, and I set a goal based on the type of work that's being done, the specific work codes that's being utilized, the budget, the geographic region where it's taking place, the number of DBEs and certified small businesses we have that can do that work in that specific space. And I come up with a goal for each and every project, and I ensure that that goal is attached to the project. And so that's a very important thing that we take seriously, that we're committed to, and that's something I oversee and continue to perform. Doing business with GDOT. Now, you do not have to be a certified DBE to be a sub or to do business with GDOT. You do, however, must be either pre-qualified or registered. If you're providing professional services, A&E services, architectural design, engineering, you have to be pre-qualified. This pre-qualification is some due diligence on our part that we perform, but it also helps you. To quote Dana, who spoke before me, when he talked about not letting your zeal eat up your house, really understanding your capability. We pre-qualify you so that you understand, and we all understand your capability, because we want you to succeed. We don't want to give you work that you can't complete, or work that's just going to be faulty. On the contracting side, on the construction side, you have to either be registered as a prime or as a sub to do business with us. And then, of course, on an annual basis, you must maintain that certification or registration if, in fact, that's what you are. Next one. For those that aren't certified, I just wanted to just touch on this. Certification is a straightforward two-step process. The first process is an application process that's about 15 pages long, but it's pretty straightforward, asking you about your identity, asking you about your principles and your business and the type of entity that you are. The application must be notarized, and it comes, you have to submit it into my office here, and I have a team of folks who will review that and work with you to make sure it's complete. And the second step is an on-site interview, in which my team goes out and inspects your business. They meet with you to see your capability in terms of ensuring that your capacity in terms of your employees, your equipment to do the work that you say that you're going to do, and also interview the direct principals, owners of the company, in terms of to explain some of those issues and how they go about their work and their capacity. Also, it's important to know that MARTA is our partner. When we talk about certification in the state, we have our GUCP stands for the Georgia Unified Certification Program, MARTA. You should know MARTA certifies firms that are in Clayton County. MARTA certifies firms that are in Clayton County, as well as DeKalb and Fulton. So the metro area is certified solely by MARTA, and I've placed their website there for you. It's marta.com/DBE-program ASPX for you. Otherwise, my office certifies the firms that are located in all the other counties in the state. So that's what, 154 other counties, as well as if you happen to be operating in another state and want to do business in Georgia through the interstate program, you would be certified in our office. And then, as well as, we perform certification for ACDBE, which is the airport concession as well. Once certified as a DBE, you have access to a cadre of supportive services to you. Those supportive services are free to you at no cost. We provide access to capital, access to training and technical assistance. We actually have a small business development center in Decatur, which is managed by one of our supportive services units, which I'll talk about. And this support, again, is applicable to both federal and state-funded projects. So we rely on those supportive services really a great deal. I'm always talking about my office doing more and better for our DBEs, our small businesses, our small veteran-owned businesses, and I charge our supportive services team to do the same for you. I want to make sure they're providing you direct technical assistance and ensuring that you're getting those opportunities that we are, emanating from the department here. Here you have our screen where you have our supportive services information. I put that up there. If you go into our website, the GDOT website, you will also see that information. So it's a GDOT website at dot.ga.gov. If you go into doing business and then go into disadvantaged business enterprise, you will see the supportive services information here, but I provided it on this page here, as well as a calendar of events in terms of upcoming training, upcoming outreach, upcoming webinar. All that information is on there. I will say that our website is very transparent, and so that's one of the things I like about it. I think earlier that you heard the folks talking about the importance of staying current and looking on the website to kind of empower yourself with information. This is one example of it. On our website, you will see a forecast of upcoming lettings. Okay, if you go into, again, the dot.ga.gov, going to doing business, and then go into contractor, you will see a project letting forecast. I took a snapshot of February. This is the upcoming letting forecast. We actually have a forecast letting projected through March that's on there. I think maybe even April by now. That's on the website. So it tells you what kinds of opportunities are out there that you can go and seek. If you look closely here, you will see the types of opportunities that are slated for the February letting. I know for a fact in about 2 weeks, every single project you see here, I'm going to be setting the goals on each one of those projects. I have a committee meeting and I will be setting the goals. I highlighted the one that's here because that's a local let project. As you can see, that's going to be let by Clayton. That is a multi-use trail. That's going to be a size that's probably appropriate for a prime for a sub or DBE sub or a small business to work as a prime. And that's an opportunity for someone there. A multi-use trail looks like they're doing improvements or developments. And so that might be something of an opportunity. But again, all those opportunities here that you see are opportunities that you can participate in. As a department, we usually do, oftentimes there's bridges, or resurfacing, which are major projects, but there's also things like concrete rehab, interchange, operational improvements, as well as pavement markings, so all the stripings you see on the street. And each one of those projects always require things like traffic control, basic things like that. So I encourage you to look on our website, engage also with our supportive services that can help you engage with those projects. Now, once Clayton County lets the project. Essentially, it's federal money that is passing through the Department of Transportation that the local government is going to let and control. The local government will contract with the prime. In that case, the local government, Clayton County in this case, will be standing in the place of GDOT. They are taking the place of GDOT. They are going to be contracting directly with the prime and are responsible for all of those federal requirements, of which you have the FHWA 1273. These are clauses and federal requirements that must be physically attached into the contract. The EO 11246, which is a Department of Labor requirement, also has to be in the contracts with the prime as well as with the subs. Davis-Bacon compliance requirements to make sure that the wage rates that are being paid to the workers are correct with regard to what was approved in the contract and what's consistent in the county and the locale. Labor interviews, as well as DBE monitoring and inspections, these are the things that the local government will have to do. They have to make sure that the DBE is participating, that they are collecting DBE monthly reports, that they ensure that the DBE is actually working on the job and that's not that they're being paid for the job timely, as well as things like having our bulletin boards, which have all of our required posters on there, information placed in a public place on the construction site, available to the public as well as available to all those workers there. Some sub-recipient best practices. Again, I try to intimate that understanding that you are standing in the place of GDOT, that you are managing the project. GDOT has some minor, or rather a minimal oversight responsibilities, but you are the local government is the one that's really standing in the place of GDOT, ensuring that the prime and the subs are compliant with these federal laws and guidelines, that you are reviewing and actually signing those monthly reports, those DBE monthly reports. You may be using a GDOT form, but where it says GDOT at the bottom, the local government has to sign off on that. They're the ones who are acting in the place. Also acting timely when you hear of issues of shortfalls, where there's issues where perhaps a DBE is not working out, or perhaps a DBE is not engaged. As the manager of the project, you have to understand that if a DBE is slated to do work in the beginning of the project, and you're already in the middle of the project, towards the end of the project, and the DBE hasn't been engaged, you have to ask those questions of the prime. It's your role and responsibility to stand in there and uphold them to the contract and make sure that they are held accountable. Of course, ensuring prompt payments, ensuring that the prime is paying the DBE and small business accordingly, and then of course notifying the department about Davis-Bacon violations when appropriate. Here you have my information here. I will gladly take questions now. I know it's a lot of information. I wanted to get it all in, but you have my information for any follow-up, but I will gladly take any questions.
Excellent information. Excellent information. Please place your questions or comments in the chat area. Again, great information. Thank you, Menelik, for providing that to us. I do want to say that Clayton County has, on our GDOT projects, there are DBE requirements that we do place on that. So just be mindful if you are interested in becoming DBE certified, make sure that you take a look at the information provided. Okay, and the question is, will the slides be available?
Certainly they are. You have them currently. You can feel free to forward them out, but again, I can forward them, and again, you have any of my information as follow-up. And again, I can't stress enough that our website is very transparent. I encourage people to look in there at those places, but also contact our supportive services team. I hold them accountable, and I'm very committed and serious about making sure they provide support, technical assistance, and otherwise. I want them to do more and better for you as a small business, as a veteran-owned business, and definitely as a DBE.
Okay. And I just also want to say that we will place the recorded event on our county website. So you can always go back and you can click the link and go through the event again and get any information that you may have missed. Okay, I'll give you just a few seconds here just to get any other questions into the chat area. And while we're waiting to do that, I just want to say thank you to Certified Quality Painting, Brown Design Group, Nova Engineering and Environmental, Ellis Electrics LLC, and Russell Contract Furnishings for joining us today. Okay, are there any questions for that presentation before we go on to the next? Okay, all right, well, we're gonna move right along. I'm sorry.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes. If you can type your questions in the chat area if possible.
I did, and no one responded.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was your question?
I'll gladly take it.
I put in the chat a question for Mr. Malik. I put it in the chat.
Can you repeat what the question is?
hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. There are rules and regulations for DBEs to be held accountable for the work they do or don't do. Who holds the primes responsible? Who ensures that they do what they're supposed to be doing by the DBE?
So the question is, who ensures that the primes that the DBEs are doing what they're supposed to do? Is that what you're saying?
No, who ensures that primes are held responsible for doing what they need to do?
Who makes sure the primes are held responsible for making sure that okay. Okay, Menelik, you want
Yes,
to answer?
I got the question. Well, essentially, my office does. We operate throughout. We have 7 districts through which we operate throughout the state. I oversee the program. They have provisions. It's called special provisions, which talk about good faith, which talk about specific. Again, I go back to the fact that this is not arbitrary. There are specific conditions, specific things that they have to do to meet the goal. If there are issues, there are specific steps, due diligence that have to be approved for which that they have to, if they have to move away from a particular goal, or if there's an issue. And ultimately, we have to determine, my office determines whether or not a good faith is upheld, and then that good faith determination determines whether or not they're actually paid for that work. So there are times where the prime will not get paid for the work that they put out for some subcontracting opportunity, or if they did the work themselves and perhaps it was supposed to go to a DBE. There are those situations, and that's a very formal sort of process, but I engage in that every day. And that's why I started off talking about not only the importance of the DBE, but also how we do the goal setting. That is attached to the project. You have to understand that if the primes aren't committing to the DBE, to the goal, if they're not committed to making the goal from the very outset in terms of the procurement process, they're not even going to get the contract. So this is something that we uphold, that we are serious about and committed to, and we work through all of our units here, the Office of Construction, Office of Procurement, throughout our 7 districts to ensure that they are meeting the goal and providing that support.
Excellent, excellent. Great information. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Menelik, if you could possibly place your email address in the chat area. Someone is asking for that information to be placed up. So if you can just type that into the chat area, we appreciate it.
Certainly will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you again for your presentation. Great information. Okay, so we are going to move on to the next part of the event, and we are going into our panel discussion. And so joining us on our panel today would be Ms. Jaleese Williams. She is the Assistant Director for Clayton County Central Services. Mr. Martin Clark, the Chief Procurement Officer for City of Atlanta, Ms. Stephanie Lee, the Supplier Diversity Program Analyst for MARTA, and then Ms. BB Love, the Contract Compliance Officer for Fulton County Government. So we are getting the panel set up, and while we're doing that, just want to remind you to please visit our website at claytonsplost.com to see any information on current and upcoming SPLOST projects. Follow us on social media at #ProgressForPennies. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our panel discussion. And up first, we're going to hear about how to do business with Clayton County from Ms. Jaleese Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hi, so since I'm up first, you guys have heard a plethora of information. Talking about SLBEs, talking about your primes, your subs. Now I'm just gonna kind of hone it all in and how you start to do business with Clayton County. We're first governed by the Clayton County Board of Commissioners. We have a centralized procurement. And from that means that we just purchase everything through central services. We purchase everything from commodities and services. Some of those commodities are, your vehicles, uniforms, furniture, and we also purchase services as far as construction services, catering services, equipment repair services. Doing business through the county, you must first register as a vendor. That's quite important. You register through our Clayton County vendor portal, which is called CVAP. And any licensed firm seeking to do business with the county can register. We are, I'm sorry, the website is www.claytoncountyga.gov, as mentioned before. To register, you must need your W-9. You must also know your commodity codes. And your commodity codes are your codes for your NIGP that relates to your business. And the more NIGP codes that you put in, the more odds or chances that you get to get your information about a bid that we're putting out. That CVAP code gives you 24-hour access to the portal, as well as your invoices and payment statuses if you are on a bid and if you're getting paid or for the bid that's out. We also have, throughout the year, we put out RFPs and bids, and we also do workshops about how to put out those RFP and bids. We do workshops for networking, like Carol mentioned earlier. We do industry day networking. So we have IT networking events, we have construction networking events, and we also have business certification workshops to let you know how you get certified here in the county. We have our opportunities on our website, as mentioned before. That's just an overview. That's basically how you do business with the county, and that's all I have. I'm sure we have questions, but that's about what I have here.
Okay, thank you, Jaleese. We'll hold the questions until we hear from all of the panelists, and then we'll open it up for questions, and then we'll direct them that way. So make sure that after you've heard from the panelists that you type any questions that you may have for them, and then we'll open it up for general questions overall. Okay, so next we're going to hear from Mr. Martin Clark with City of Atlanta on how to do business with the city.
Greetings and good morning. I send greetings from Mayor Bottoms and the City of Atlanta City Council. I am super excited to be here, folks. Just as a background, I'm the Chief Procurement Officer for Atlanta, former Chief Counsel for the airport, but most importantly and most proudly, folks, I've spent 15 years defending our minority and women contracting programs here. And Clayton County and the City of Atlanta have worked lockstep to create arguably the greatest women and minority economic ecosystem in the country, not the world. And that's why I'm here. I mean, this is a very important region, and Clayton is critical to that success. In terms of how to do business, of course, it's important for you to come to the website, atlantaga.gov. But I think more importantly, I think your audience has probably gained benefit of a view of what aspects have made subcontractors and primes successful over the 25 years that I've practiced law. And it all comes down to knowing your numbers and knowing your seasons, folks. Looking at it through the optic of the prime contractor, folks, they're looking to see whether or not you have the skill set and to bring value and to complete the project so that they look great in front of the city and their client or whoever's hiring them. And if you look at it through that optic, you have to know your numbers. So over the years, some of the mistakes that I've seen are folks that did not do proper cost proposals, did not understand the cash flow components for net revenues, net operating costs, etc. If you're gonna do business, you have to do business. You have to know your numbers. And I've got horrible, examples in the past where folks have had they had all this ambition to jump onto these contracts, but they did not properly and accurately look at sort of the numbers associated with completion of the scope of work. And so I would implore folks in terms of doing business, and make sure you know your numbers and know your seasons, knowing when or how bonding and insurance works, and making sure that you execute the scope of work that's provided in the solicitations. And it's incredible. Those who have done well, that have executed great work, generally will continue to get more and more work. So that's just a basic, and I'll look forward to the questions that come along. But I'm absolutely excited to be here this morning.
Okay, thank you, Martin. And next we'll hear from Ms. Stephanie Lee from MARTA.
Okay, I am going to share my screen. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Stephanie Lee, Supply Diversity Program Analyst with MARTA Office of Diversity and Inclusion. I oversee the Small Business Enterprise Program. I'm responsible for ensuring the utilization of small and disadvantaged businesses on MARTA's contracting opportunities, community outreach, and supplier development. And today I will be discussing essential steps for doing business with MARTA. So first things first, make sure that you register as a vendor. For those of you who are not currently registered, I ask that you visit MARTA's website. And I have the website listed here, www.itsmarta.com. The next step is to get certified. MARTA has a DBE and SBE program. We only recognize those businesses who are DBE certified, and SBEs who are registered with the Georgia Department of Transportation, also known as GDOT. For those interested in a DBE certification and your business is located in Clayton, DeKalb, and Fulton County, you must submit your application through MARTA. And I have the website shown here. And for all other counties in Georgia, you must submit your application through GDOT. And their website is also shown here. MARTA doesn't administer an SBE registration process. We rely on the verification of GDOT for that. So if you're interested in registering as a small business enterprise and you are not certified as a DBE, you will go through a registration process with GDOT. The next step is create a capability statement. And for those of you who don't know what a capability statement is, it's your business resume. It's a great tool for marketing your business, and it's a great way of introducing your business to MARTA. You want to ensure that your capability statement is specific to the product and the service that you offer, and make sure to keep it short, at least 1 to 2 pages. The next step is to prepare an elevator pitch. You want to be concise with your elevator pitch by describing your business and your expertise. You want to be able to blow the minds of those representatives who you will be introducing your products to. So keep it simple and not too long, but make an impression. The next step is check MARTA's website for contracting opportunities. On the website, you will be able to view current opportunities, anticipated procurements, and also recently awarded procurements. And visit the website weekly. I have a lot of small businesses that typically call and say, hey, what opportunities do you have? In order for me to know how serious you are, you have to do the work yourself. You have to be able to go out to the website and see what opportunities we have available. The next step is attend pre-proposal conferences. This is one of the best ways to gain a better understanding of MARTYR's procurement and contracting opportunities. I'm sorry, procurement and contracting requirements. And currently we are doing our pre-quote and pre-proposal conferences virtually. And the next step is a very, very, very important step. Submit a quote or proposal. You can't expect to win a contract if you do not submit a quote or proposal. When submitting a quote or proposal, please make sure that you read the solicitation in its entirety. You want to pay close attention to words such as must, shall. You want to include all required documentations. And please, 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 double check your dollar amounts. The next step is to participate in outreach events and development workshops. There is nothing greater than investing your time to grow and prosper in your business and in yourself. And ways to do that is to participate in networking opportunities and educational and development opportunities that we offer. And last but not least, have the capacity and the capability to do the work. MARTA is looking for strong strategic partners who can deliver and get the job done. We want to know that you have the employees and the resources to meet the schedule, the qualifications to perform the scope of work, the financial resources for execution of the project, and tangible assets required to do the work. Show up and show out. Next, I'm going to share some upcoming projects, and I have to give my disclaimer right now. I'm just simply sharing these upcoming projects. I will not be able to give you any more details than what is shown on the slides. So if you have any questions about what you see, I will be giving out the contact information at the end of the presentation of the appropriate person who will be able to answer the questions. So under construction and installation projects, we will have a traction power substation replacement program, Wave 1 project. We will also have a jock order contracting 3.0 project. For A&E and consulting services, we will have systems engineering and consulting services, surveying consulting services, A&E design services for 5-point station transformation, construction management at risk services to support the 5-point station transformation. And we will also have an electronic security program. And should you have any questions regarding the DBE and the SBE program, you may contact myself. And if you have any questions about the DBE certification process, you can contact Shalandra Kornick and Erica DeShajar. our certification analyst. And if you have any questions pertaining to our vendor registration, our contract control department phone number is listed here. And should you have any questions regarding the upcoming projects, please reach out to Ms. Shauna Thompson. She's the department administrator for the Office of Capital Programs Delivery, and her contact information is listed here. Thank you so much for your time. That is all I have.
Okay. And thank you, Stephanie. So next we will hear from Ms. BB Love with Fulton County.
Show me. Hello, this is BB Love. I guess the last is the best. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm going to do how to do business with Fulton County. And I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a minute. Share. Okay. Okay, welcome. This presentation is an overview of our procurement process. I will be discussing the following topics: procurement methods, advertisement, bid opportunities, E-Verify, vendor registration, and contract compliance. Fulton County has 3 methods of procurement: small purchases, which are less than $2,500, and also purchases with P cards; informal solicitations, solicitations from $2,500 to $49,999.99. Now, the informal solicitations don't have to be published in the newspaper, but the formal solicitations, which are solicitations over $50,000, are required to be published in the newspaper in the various general circulations that the county uses. Advertisement. These are the advertised publications that the county uses: Atlanta Inquirer, Atlanta Voice, FGTV, which is the Fulton County Government TV, BidNet Direct, and the Georgia Procurement Registry. BidNet. BidNet will allow vendors to view and download solicitations, our quotes, our bids, and our RFPs. You will be able to view addendas, submit all bid responses electronically, submit questions online, check status of the solicitation, view and download the tabulation sheets, and view contract awards. E-Verify. E-Verify. Bidders must show proof of registration that they are in the E-Verify program if they are physically doing business in the state of Georgia. Physical performance of service. Physical performance of service means any service that is contracted over $2,499.99. Now, under state law, the county cannot consider any bid or proposal that does not include a complete affidavit. Primes and subcontractors must submit a Georgia Security and Immigration Contractor Affidavit. To find more about this E-Verify, I have put the website there, everify.uscis.gov/enroll. Okay, vendor registration. The county has a vendor self-registration system. This allows vendors to register and maintain information about their organization for the purpose of doing business with the county. Ability to customize business opportunities based on on your NIGP commodity codes. You'll be able to receive emails, notifications of upcoming bid opportunities. You will receive emails or notifications of upcoming outreach events, workshops, and this is a 24/7 website that the vendor themselves can go in. Vendor registration, I put all that information, that's the website, FultonCounty.gov/WEBAPP/DSSPROD/ALT self-service. And then that's okay. The county now has electronic fund transfers, payments for our vendors as part of the county's commitment to pay promptly and conveniently. This allows an alternative to paper checks and to provide the following benefits. Okay, funds availability and delivery, possibility of eliminating stolen checks, stop payment charges, and reissuing costs. Estimated of payment and I'm sorry, not estimated, but established a payment and credit records. We're going green. We're trying to reduce the use of paper. Contract compliance. The non-discrimination in purchasing and contracting. Fulton County's non-discrimination in purchasing and contract policy. I can't see the rest of it. Wait just a moment, please. Is the process is open to the public. It's what am I? Can you give me just a minute because I can't see the whole screen and I'm trying to move it over. Just a minute. Okay, thank you. All right. The non-discrimination in purchasing and contracting policy ensures that the procurement process is open to all businesses without regard to the race, color, gender, or national origin or sexual orientation. This policy is a race-neutral policy. Next. I'm continuing having a little technical difficulty here. My screen isn't moving. I'm sorry. I don't know why I won't move. And I don't have it on paper in front of me. Go back into sharing this. Okay, here we go. The county encourages certified businesses to participate in all the bidding processes. Also, the county sponsors and attends numerous trade fairs and community events. Other outreach incentives, we provide a listing of certified firms to potential prime contractors as well as subcontractors too. We encourage certification to build, in order to build our database of diverse suppliers, contractors, and consultants. Certification. Fulton County certifies minority business enterprise, female business enterprise, small business enterprise, disadvantaged business enterprise, and service disabled veterans. Certification as a minority female business enterprise, MFBE, is granted to businesses that are 51% owned and operated by a minority. And the minorities that are considered are African American, Asian American, Hispanic, Native American, and or female. Our certification is for 2 years and is with a required renewal. Fulton County accepts MFBE certifications by GMSDC, WeBank, and City of Atlanta. Our certification application can be completed online, fultoncountyga.diversitycompliance.com. Certification as a small business enterprise, SBE, is granted to businesses that are 51% owned, operated, and controlled by size standards. Fulton County accepts certifications of SBE firms certified by the City of Atlanta. Fulton County also accepts certifications from SBEs from SBA, Small Business Administration. DBE certifications, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, is based on size standards. Certification as a DBE for federally funded projects are certified by the Georgia Department of Transportation. Fulton County and GDOT have a certification agreement. Service disabled veteran business enterprise is granted to businesses that are owned, operated by one or more individuals who are disabled as a result of military service and or honorably discharged. Suppliers, contractors, and consultants currently certified by vet bids will only have to complete an application and show proof of their business license and their certification of vet bids. Reciprocity. Fulton County has entered into a partial reciprocity agreement with the Greater Women Business Council and Georgia Minority Supply Development Council, which allows vendors to complete a streamlined application, complete an application and submit their current business license and a certificate of certification from the issuing agencies. Certification. Our certification website is fultoncountyga.diversity.com, and it will come up on the screen like this, and the vendor will complete a account and then follow the prompts. Thank you for your interest in doing business with Fulton County. Our information is on the screen.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Bibi. Thank you to all the panelists. So please type any questions that you may have for any one of the panelists, whether it be Clayton County, City of Atlanta, MARTA, or Fulton County. And I do have a couple of starter questions just to warm you up in case some of our attendees are shy in asking. So let me go ahead and just ask a question or two. First question is, do you have a preferred vendors list? And if so, how does a firm get on the list? And we can start with, we'll start backwards and we'll start with Fulton County. Bibi?
Hi. What you would do in order to get on our preferred vendor list, you need to get certified with Fulton County. There are two ways. You can register with Fulton County, and that way you are actually on a vendor list. But to get on the certification list, you need to get registered with the Contract Compliance Department.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And same question, Stephanie, MARTA?
For MARTA, we do not have a preferred list. We just ask that everybody register with MARTA. And when there are opportunities that are out there, depending on the NAS codes in which they selected during the registration process, that is how they are notified of opportunities.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. And City of Atlanta?
Greetings. Yes, similarly, the City of Atlanta has a two-step process. You will initially register as a vendor through the procurement department, and then we also have our programs via the Office of Contract Compliance, where you will be able to apply for AABE, or African American Business Enterprise, Hispanic Business Enterprise, Asian American Business Enterprise, and female. We also have at the City of Atlanta a Small Business Enterprise Program, or SBO, our Small Business Opportunity Program, that you can also apply with. We have a fantastic staff of folks that are part of the certification program. We also, of course, have our DBE and ACDBE programs, and similar to the other government entities on this program, we defer to, of course, MARTA certified and GDOT certified entities or business enterprises. So that's the process.
Okay. All right. And then Jaleese, Clayton County.
Yes, we are similar to everyone else. We do have a SLB certification eligibility. Like I said, like everyone has been saying, you do have to register first, and then you fill out your forms for your SLBE programs. And we also have MWBE certification eligibility as well. We also have local vendor preference, and that's if you stay within the county. But yes, we do have those, and if you register through our CVAP and then fill out your applications for your SLBE programs and your MWE programs, we do have that in the county.
Okay. And again, please type your questions in the chat area. If you do not have any questions for the panelists right now, if there's questions for any of the presenters, please make sure that you type those into the chat area, and we will address those as well during this Q&A session. I do have a question, just for clarity. The question is, do you have to be certified in one of the programs as a small business, minority women business, or any other program, diversity program, in order to do business with your agency? And we can start with Clayton County.
No, you don't have to be certified in order to do business, but it is recommended because you get more opportunities. Like I said, once you register and you are a part of those preference programs, you will get more opportunities. The large vendors will be able to look at you and see, and then when you put your NIGP codes in, your commodity codes, you will get emails to let you know that we have bids and proposals coming out.
Okay, thank you. City of Atlanta.
Yes, you can go ahead and do business. You don't have to be a minority or a female certified business. We are open. And I also wanted to take the opportunity, if at all possible, Ms. Taylor, to just do a quick screenshot of some of the opportunities. We did create a presentation, but I wanted to leave some time for more questions. Is that possible?
Sure, go ahead.
Fantastic. Let's see if I can bring this up. Fantastic. Again, we are looking to do business with everyone on the line here, and so we highly recommend that you apply and get to know the prime contractors, and/or we'd love for you to apply as a prime. We have a number of solicitations that are going to be coming out for bid. Really interesting, especially for Clayton. I know that that the airport is looking at eventually doing a number of development deals in Clayton. We have a number of solicitations related to corrections, airport, modern cargo's coming, truck pass, taxiway. So we have a number of solicitations that are going to be coming up for consideration. I also wanted to, if we have time, to acknowledge some of these amazing people that are on the line. The programs that we're talking about, the race conscious programs, the city's EBO program, which is the Equal Business Opportunity Program, which served as the genesis and DNA for the federal programs, was actually started by somebody that's on the line, a brother named Rodney Strong. Rodney, are you still on the line? I think I saw him there. And we really do owe a great deal of gratitude to Rodney, who was actually at the city of Atlanta during the Maynard Jackson period and was able to help craft these programs that all of the government entities that are on the line now enjoy. And I definitely wanted to take a point and grab order to say thank you to him for helping create these things. Having defended these things for 25 years, and I'm knocking on wood because we literally never lost in nearly 40 challenges, it's not easy to keep these things. The people that are on the line, Jalise, Bibi, Stephanie, Metalik, all of y'all that you've seen on this panel, I mean, they live the life. It's not easy. We defend these things, and all we ask from your side of the table is that you try to do your best job to bring value and just make us proud.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Martin. Great words, great words. I don't see any other questions in the chat. We have about maybe a little less than 10 minutes. I do have a question or two that I do want to ask the panel to address. If you can each go around and just say what your bid range threshold is for those that may be interested in maybe performing under the bid threshold or above that. So your bid range threshold, starting with Fulton County. Bibi?
Okay, our bid range will go from 0 to infinity, I guess. But we have various, I see that laugh. We have various ranges. Anything under $2,500, it can be purchased with the P card. So those will be our quotes. A lot of those, and those are things that I think one of the gentlemen were talking about. Sometimes it's best to start small and then go large. So that's a good way to get started and get your foot in the door with Fulton County. And then anything, our formal solicitation or anything 50,000 and above. So that's more of a procurement question, and I'm more in compliance, contract compliance. So, but those are I talked about the 3 main procurements that we have, which was the quotes, ITBs, and formal solicitation, which is mostly our capital and RFPs.
Okay, and Stephanie, Marta?
Okay. I'm like Bibi, I'm on the diversity and inclusion side, but I'm pulling up the information now. So for our formal procurements, that is $200,000 and more. And the solicitations that falls under that are invitations for bids and requests for proposals. And our informal procurements fall under $200,000. And those will be solicited as requests for quotes or micro purchases.
Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. And then Martin?
Sure. We actually have quite a range, starting with and I'm excited about this, our new micro purchase opportunities, which are still fall under $5,000. Then the next threshold would be $20,000 for our small purchases. And of course, the formal's over 100, but what I really want to also get to are our joint venture programs. For contracts that are 5 million or above, the City of Atlanta allows the Director of Office of Contract Compliance to consider applying a joint venture program to that solicitation. And of course, it has been wildly successful here in the state of Georgia. But we have for some of the smaller opportunities, a lot of small and micro purchase needs, such as catering services, promotional items. Now we have, I think, holiday services that we need, web design service, consultant services. So that's sort of a sweet spot for the smaller micro purchases and small purchases.
Okay, thank you, Martin. And then lastly, Jaleese, Clayton County.
So for Clayton County, we do have requests for quotes, and that is for anything up to $75,000. And then above $75,000, we also have ITBs and our formal quotes and our formal bids and our RFPs. And your ITBs are competitive as well as your RFPs, but the ITBs are 75,000 and they are for your for price based only, and where your RFPs are for when it's not practical to go for price, but for your most advantageous service that you're trying to get.
Okay. Thank you, Jaleese. And I don't see any questions in the chat for the panel. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end it up. We are about 5 or 6 minutes shy, so we're going to go ahead and close out. And we'll hear next from Ms. Carol Rogers, the Director of Central Services, who is going to give our closing remarks.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone, again. And Tammy, thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for attending today. It was so much knowledge shared today. We always appreciate working with our other entities in the area. One thing we all do is that we all strive to make sure that we're great stewards of the county's taxpayers' funds. Part of what we've always done together is make sure that we share information. We all are doing similar things. We're buying similar products. We're actually using and having similar services. So it is important that we work together as a unit within compliance. We actually work with our sister, is what we call them, entities. We have quarterly meetings to discuss trends within our industry, to talk about different things that's going on. We actually share information when we have projects that go out. So it's great to be able to see everyone from Fulton and the other counties. So we certainly appreciate you all taking your time. Also, once again, we want to thank you all as attendees. I want to also thank staff. The Central Service staff, obviously, Tammy for moderating, but I also want to thank our co-host, which is Atlas, and I want to thank Collaborative Firm for working with us to put off this event in this virtual world. I think a great job was done by everyone. What I would like for you all to do is to continue to open the lines of communication with each entity. It's very important that you network with each other, but also that you contact us. What we do here at Central Services is we have certain days where you can set up a meeting with our staff to give us a little bit more information about any service or products that you have to offer to the county. So feel free to give us a call here at Central Services to reach out, and we will set up some time to meet with you. But once again, I want to thank everyone for attending, and I'm looking forward to next year, regardless if we're in-house or if we're inside of the computer in the virtual world. But once again, thank you all for attending.
All right. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I just want to, again, thank everyone for taking time to come out. And above all, and most importantly, stay safe.
Same to you.
Well.
We enjoyed it.
Stay safe as well.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.